Robert Ledgard is a brilliant plastic surgeon who's been working on creating a type of artificial skin that resists burns and even insect bites. He conducts his experiments in a private, high-tech estate where he secretly keeps a beautiful woman named Vera. Vera isn't allowed to leave her room and is constantly watched by Robert's loyal servant Marilia. Her food and other supplies are sent through a dumbwaiter. One day, Robert comes home carrying a mysterious bag. Inside is a packet of blood that he's eager to study. After analyzing it under a microscope, he places it into a bizarre machine. Later, he heads to his room and watches Vera on a large monitor, who appears to be asleep. Grabbing a small box of opium, he goes into her room, but instead of finding her asleep, he discovers Vera unconscious and wounded, with deep cuts on her wrists, chest, and stomach. Horrified, Robert rushes her into his home operating theater and manages to save her. But Vera, exhausted from her isolated and tormented life, would rather die than go on like this. The next morning, Robert pulls out a large petri dish holding a strange, fabric-like material floating inside. This is his synthetic skin, and he begins shaping it to match a human form. Eventually, Robert grafts this artificial skin onto Vera, telling her it will protect her from burns. To prove it, he even sets her thigh on fire, and just like he said, she doesn't feel a thing. A few days later, Robert attends a medical symposium to showcase his groundbreaking invention, the synthetic skin he created, which is resistant to burns and insect bites. He names it Gal in memory of his late wife. However, the president of the scientific community grows suspicious. He suspects that Robert may have altered the skin through transgenesis, genetic manipulation using animal cells. Wanting confirmation, he privately questions Robert, who admits to using pig cells in the process. Since transgenesis is banned in ethical biological research, this causes a major conflict. The president warns Robert to immediately stop his work or risk being reported. With his research now officially shut down, Robert tells Vera that she can keep the skin. After all, it's now the most advanced skin in the world. Vera, unsure what that means for her future, asks what will happen to her now. She even suggests that maybe they could live together, but Robert quickly rejects the idea and walks out, ignoring her attempt to stop or seduce him. The next morning at breakfast, Marilia warns Robert that using his late wife's face for Vera was a dangerous choice. She tells him there are only two options left: either kill Vera or keep her hidden forever. With the project over, Robert fires all his servants, only Marilia remains. Later that day, a man in a tiger costume wearing a mask shows up at Robert's gate. It's Zeka, Marilia's son. He tells her he's come for the carnival and wants to visit her. At first, Marilia hesitates to let him in, but when Zeka promises to leave soon, she opens the gate. However, Marilia stops him from entering the house, but Zeka doesn't listen. He's hungry and starts eating the food. As Zeka looks around, he spots Vera on one of the surveillance screens. Mistaking her for Robert's dead wife, he demands to see her in person. Marilia refuses and warns him to back off, even threatening him with a gun. But Zeka grabs it and Marilia fires it in the process. Vera, hearing the loud noise through the intercom system from her room, tries to contact Marilia. When she gets no response, she gets panic. Back in the kitchen, Zeka ties Marilia to a chair and gags her with a cloth before heading off to find Vera. He finally locates the room where Vera is being held. He demands she open the door, but she tells him she doesn't have the key. Zeka returns. He's taken the key from Marilia. As he tries to unlock the door, Vera kicks it hard, knocking him backward. She tries to run, but he grabs her legs, preventing her escape. Overpowering her, Zeka begins to do wrong things to her. He questions how she managed to survive the fire, claiming he left her inside a burning car. Vera pleads with him to let her go, saying she'll do whatever he wants. He carries her into the room and did the unthinkable. Suddenly, Robert arrives. Furious, he bursts into the room and shoots Zeka on the spot. He immediately rushes to Vera and pulls her into a protective embrace. The next day, while cleaning the blood-stained mattress, Marilia reveals a hidden truth. Robert and Zeka are half-brothers. She explains that during her time working for the Ledgard family, she had Robert with Mr. Ledgard. Zeka, however, was born from her affair with a household servant. Zeka eventually fell into the wrong crowd and left home. Marilia didn't see him again until he suddenly returned one day, asking her to hide him. Around that time, Gal, Robert's wife, discovered Zeka hiding in the outhouse. She became infatuated with him, and they ran away together. But tragedy struck. Their car crashed. Zeka survived with only facial injuries and fled, abandoning Gal, who suffered severe burns. Robert found her and devoted himself to her recovery. Over time, she began to heal. One day, she heard her daughter Norma singing and, filled with emotion, dragged herself to a window, only to see her scarred reflection. The sight broke her. Unable to accept her disfigured appearance, Gal jumped out of the window. Little Norma saw it happen. Witnessing her mother's death left her deeply traumatized. Years later, Norma ended her life in the same tragic way as her mother, by jumping out of a window. As Marilia and Vera talk about these past events, Robert returns after disposing of Zika's body. He takes Vera back to his room, and that night, they sleep together. During the night, Robert has a haunting dream about an event that happened 6 years ago. In this dream, he and Norma are attending a wedding. At some point, he notices Norma is missing from the hall, so he steps outside into the garden to look for her. There he spots a boy riding away on a bike, and not far from that, he finds Norma's shoe and cardigan on the ground. A few steps further, he sees Norma unconscious on the grass. Panicked, Robert tries to wake her. When she finally opens her eyes, she sees her father hovering over her and mistakenly believes he assaulted her. Her trauma resurfaces instantly. She screams, pushes him away, and spirals into deep fear. This moment becomes the trigger for her intense fear of all men. Meanwhile, Vera also dreams that night, but from another point of view. She remembers the same wedding party, but through the eyes of a young boy named Vicente, who worked in his mother's dress shop. He had attended that same wedding and met Norma through mutual friends. After the party, the two ended up alone in the garden. As they talk, Norma stumbles in her heels, and Vicente catches her. He kisses her, and in a moment of impulsive excitement, Vicente and Norma starts loving each other. But suddenly, a song plays, the same one Norma used to sing with her mother. The sound jolts her back to a traumatic memory, and she begins to panic and scream. Vicente, afraid she'll cause a scene, tries to cover her mouth. She bites his hand, and in panic, he slaps her, which causes her to lose consciousness. Scared and unsure of what to do, Vicente hurriedly dresses her and flees the scene on his bike, passing right by Robert, who notices him. After this incident, Norma is taken to a psychiatric facility due to her unstable condition. Even Robert's visits become too much for her. She starts hiding in closets when he comes, terrified and overwhelmed. Eventually, doctors suggest he stop visiting so often to avoid worsening her condition. After learning the truth about what happened to his daughter, Robert tracks down Vicente. He follows him along a dark road until he causes Vicente to crash his bike. Robert then injects him with a sedative and kidnaps him. Vicente wakes up chained in a small room, left with nothing but a bucket of water, no food, no explanation. A few days later, Robert cleans and shaves Vicente, sedates him again, and takes him to an operating room. When Vicente wakes up on a surgical table and asks what Robert has done to him, Robert calmly reveals that he performed a vaginoplasty. He has surgically changed Vicente's sex. He also explains that he is the father of the girl Vicente assaulted at the wedding party, though Vicente claims he can't remember anything because he was high. Vicente's body has now changed. He has women body features and a more delicate frame. Robert gives him a special bodysuit to help shape his body further, and a face mask to mold his face into a feminine shape. Weeks pass. When the face mask is finally removed, Vicente now has the exact same face as Robert's late wife, Gal. Robert renames him Vera. At first, Vera tries to resist and rebel, but over the next 6 years, her body and identity are completely transformed. Now she watches TV, scribbles on the walls, practices yoga, and mostly keeps to herself. Marilia is brought back to the house to care for Vera, though she remains cold toward her. Still, Vera is no longer locked away. She helps out in the kitchen and is occasionally allowed to go outside with a helper. One day, Vera finds a newspaper with a missing person photo of her old self, Vicente. That night, she and Robert love each other, though Vera admits that she's still feeling pain. When Robert suggests using a different method, Vera remembers she bought a lubricating cream earlier. As she looks through her shopping bags, she also grabs Robert's gun and hides it in her purse. Then she pulls out the gun, pointing at him. Robert tries to stop her, but she shoots him dead. The gunshot alerts Marilia, who rushes upstairs with her own weapon. But Vera is ready. Hiding under the bed, she shoots and kills Marilia too. After changing her clothes, Vera walks out of the house, finally free. In the final scene, Vera returns to her old life. She goes to her mother's dress shop, where her mother and friend Christina are working. They don't recognize her at first, but when Christina approaches to help, Vera reveals her true identity. She is Vicente. She explains everything, the kidnapping, the forced surgeries. To prove it, she reminds Christina of a private conversation they had 6 years ago. Shocked and emotional, Christina believes her. Vera's mother comes out to see what's going on and finds the two in tears. She's confused, but the movie ends with Vera gathering the courage to reveal to her mother who she truly is. And the movie ends here,